It's Cash Color Campus, a high level of conversation on live hiphopdaily.tv. And this episode, I'm doing a solo one, primarily because I wanted to come on and talk about my time in Philadelphia last week at Black Cannabis Week. I had an amazing time. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Daco for putting on such an amazing event. Shout out to Brandy for making sure everything was straight as far as my speaker role, hospitality, all that. I just had an amazing time. But for those who don't know, Black Campus Week was last week. It was the 17th through the 24th, and it was split up between virtual and live and in person. I was blessed to be down there for the live and in person part of the show. And yeah, I just had an amazing time, man. It was one of those moments where you realize how small of a group we are in this space, but also how powerful, how large we are with our voices. And that was something that really rang true to me those couple of days I was down there. Seeing so many black faces, who had their own brands, seeing so many black faces who were speakers, seeing so many black faces who came to learn more about this space and where they could fit in. All that, like, amazes me. And I'm always going to be a champion for us having our own spaces. Like, that's never going to be something I'm ever going to shy away from. I think that we need a space for black faces, just like we need a space for brown spaces, just like you need a space for all spaces, man. Be honest with you. Like, you can't have a conversation. It's hard to have conversations that are specific to your community when you're in a room of people who aren't specific with this community. It's just a fact of life, man. So, going down to Black Canvas Week was definitely eye-opening for me. First, it was eye-opening for me because it was my first time in Philly, which was, I think, is wild as hell to say out loud, being that I'm born and raised in Boston. I spent a lot of my time driving up and down them highways, been to New York plenty of times, been to D.C. plenty of times, and somehow, some way, I never found myself in the city of Philadelphia until last week. That was my very, very, very first time getting off the plane, driving through these streets. This was the first time I experienced any of this. And I loved it, and I loved it. Philly is a great city. One of the things I got to see, and I wanted to talk to her about that last week, the Meek Mill bike life shit is real as hell in Philly. Like, Friday night, all you saw was, like, dirt bikes, four-wheelers riding down Broad Street, like, cranking them up, cutting red lights, all that. Man, it was a scene, dog. I remember sitting outside the hotel. Matter of fact, shout out to my man Omari with Black Best Dirty Lemonade and a gang of other folks. We was outside kicking it, and that's all you heard was that shit was dope, bro. It was just dope to kind of see that kind of vibe in the city, man, because you don't really see it. They definitely don't see it down here, but you don't really see it in a lot of places. But they bout that bike life in Philly, so. But getting back to the event itself was amazing. Like I mentioned, it was split off between virtual and live and in person, and I had a chance to be at the live and in person part. I was down there for Friday, Saturday, primarily to do the podcast. I'll take that back. Primarily, I was down there to be a speaker. I had a chance to speak about monetizing media and using Cash Color Cannabis as an example. And shout out to everybody who came upstairs to come watch that. Oh, did I mention we was at Temple University for this? Oh, bro, it was lovely, man. It was one of the moments, man. It was definitely one of the moments. It was definitely one of them cold moments too up north. It was one of them times where we realized if you're not somebody who grew up in seasons and you live down south all the time, you be shocked to see cold. But yeah. I mean, come on, it's late September. Like, it's freezing out here. It's absolutely freezing out here, and it's about to get colder. Matter of fact, when it gets warmer, that's when you get shocked. But we was out there, man. I had a chance to come to speak, like I mentioned, to speak about Cash Color Cannabis and assist other people in how to monetize media and give them some tips that I use to help monetize my situation. So that was dope to see people come out for that, and it was dope for me. It was really dope for me to sit down and be able to put together that presentation, because I fancy myself as somebody who is not a big public speaker, despite the fact I've been doing a podcast for 7 years, despite the fact I clearly speak in public. I don't honestly like doing it. So it was really something I had to step out of my bounds to come do, in all honesty. So I put together a really dope slideshow when we came through. And again, shout out to everybody who chimed in, who had questions. I had a couple of people ask me after the panel if they could be on the staff. And I was like, we growing that next year. Trust me, man. I'm trying to get the budget together now because I can't keep doing all this on my own. I need a manager at this point. Like, I'm that person at this point. I need a manager. I'm not saying it in no cocky way. I just understand what I can't do in my own life. And I need some help. Definitely one of the things I need is a manager. But I also had a chance to do the podcast down there, and the podcast experience, again, amazing. Shout out to Sarah. Sarah Kaya. Oh my God, Sarah, I'm forgetting your last name, and please don't throw bottles at me. but I'm forgetting your last name right now. But she has an amazing venture called Lockbox, and we had a chance to sit down and talk to her about how Lockbox came to be. She also won the pitch panel that they did earlier that day. This was early Friday. They did a pitch panel with a couple of other brands, and the prize was I think it was $2,500. Shout out to my man Omari with Best Dirty Lemonade. Best Dirty Lemonade won third prize, so I watched my man take home $500. But yeah, again, Sarah Kaya Morton. Hey, Sarah. Sarah Kaya Morton was on the show talking about Lockbox. We also had my man Dewey, who was the director of this amazing documentary called Higher Power, which they also had a chance to screen. I had a chance to watch that. Higher Power was super dope and really powerful. And actually read more about Dewey and Higher Power in the next issue of Cash Color Cannabis magazine, because we're gonna be focusing on them. But yeah, it was a lot of dope interviews, a lot of dope energy. Shout out to United Empowerment Party. Like, it was just dope, man. It was just really, really dope vibes to be around that. So I kind of want to come on and tell DACO and tell Black Cannabis Week, thank you for having me on. It was really a great time. I don't want to keep beating the word amazing into the ground, but it was really great time, really amazing time. And it was one of them things where by the time I got back to Atlanta, I spent most of my time thinking about the things I was taking away and what I want to bring back to Atlanta as far as me doing the show and me expanding the brand. So it was a learning experience for me, like it was a learning experience for a lot of people. But thank you again for having me part of that. And one of the craziest things that happened on my way back home, aside from the fact that I booked the wrong flight. Oh yeah, last minute I had to rebook a flight. I get all the way to the airport. I mean, it was one of them times where I'm upset at myself and where I know I need a manager. I had everything lined up perfectly. Like I had my bags packed, I had everything out. I knew exactly what time I needed to leave the hotel. Everything was on point. Get in the Uber. Uber dude is a sports fan. We up here talking about Colorado. We talking about the Sixers. We talking about everything. Get to the airport. I'm check in. Go to the front desk, and she goes, I can't find your number. And I was like, what you mean you can't find my number? It's right here. She pulls it up. She goes, yeah, your flight goes out tomorrow, not today. That was my face, Herb. So at this moment, not saying I'll be balling, but I was like, I actually got it. I've been in, because I can say this now because I've been in situations where I didn't have it. And now I'm just going to be, I took Spirit. Yeah, so at this moment, the highest ticket was $90. I was like, I'll go ahead and grab this. And I'll just wait till later that night. And then I went and booked another night at a hotel room just so I can go back to sleep. Like, I wasn't even going to be there the whole time, but I definitely wanted to go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, woke up, got back on the airplane. We didn't get back to Atlanta till 2 a.m. The flight didn't get pushed back, but we had a situation where they had to take the flight back. I guess something went wrong on the pilot's board. They tried to listen, bro. They tried to do it on their own. They said, we trying to see if this update work. Update don't work. We got to take it all the way back, and we got to go get the mechanics out here. So we all the way back here, bro. At this point, I'm tired. Y'all know I got to get a tooth pulled, so I'm still taking this medicine. I'm beat. We finally get this flight ready to go, and we finally off in the air. And I look at the time like, all right, so we won't be back. We won't even land till 12:30, but at least we in the air. I need to go get something to drink because I got to take these pills. And you know about Spirit. They charge you for every single thing. So I'm about to spend $4 for this Sprite in order so I can take this pill. But as I'm spending $4 for this Sprite, Wayne, where you at for this story? As I'm spending $4 for this Sprite, the flight attendant leans in and says, aren't you the dude who does that podcast at Live Hip Hop Daily? And I was like, I almost said no. Like, I literally, my first instance, I wanted to say no, because I'm like, you must got me confused with somebody else. But no, she said it again. I think I've seen you before. You could do a podcast. And at this point, I just really need to take this medicine. So I was like, yeah, it's me. So I drank my Sprite. And like I was telling them earlier today, everybody who was sitting in the row in front of me heard her, spun around. And now they staring at me because they want to see who this is. And I'm sitting there looking like, bro, I'm on a Spirit. Sitting in row 14, like chill. Like whatever podcast I'm on, it's not Drink Champs. You know what I'm saying? If it was Drink Champs, shout out to them. I've actually been on a flight with Akon, and it was like Southwest flight. Like, so there's a lot of people let me not take that back. There's a lot of people who take commercial. I just wouldn't have been one. And I was just shocked that she even noticed who I was. But that was a dope moment because, again, coming back from Black Cannabis Week and being able to take that energy with me, to get hit with those words right then, really sealed it to me that I knew what I wanted to take Cash Color Cannabis and also where it was going. You know, I really was proud of the growth that we made in 7 years because, to be completely honest with you, we do a lot of shows at Live Hip Hop Daily. I could have fell in the shuffle millions of times. Like there's been plenty of people who probably been on that flight who did the same show who ain't nobody ever noticed. But you notice Cash Color Cannabis. And that will always resonate in my mind as one of the moments where I knew that we were making it, we were going to another place, and we was going to another level. So next up for us is Las Vegas for MJ Biz. I can't wait to share with y'all the plans that we got for MJ Biz because they're going to be super dope. Matter of fact, shout out to MJ Biz for even reaching out to me. But the plans we got, they're going to be super dope. We're going to finalize those sometime this week. But just look out for me and the team down there. I'm going to bring Herb with me. I don't know if I can bring Joe, but I'm going to definitely bring somebody. Somebody else is going to come with us to hold this camera. And we're going to have basically live Hip Hop Daily in Vegas. So I can't wait to bring this whole thing out to y'all. But yeah, again, shout out to DACO. Shout out to Black Cannabis Week. It was an amazing time. Thank you for having me out there. Thank you for inviting me and having such a level of hospitality. Y'all had a great event. Y'all weathered a strong storm. A rainstorm happened up there. Still brought out people. People still came in that rain because they wanted to get that knowledge, get that kind of networking, and get that level of closeness with other folks. So shout out to everybody who came through. I really appreciate y'all. Shout out to DACO. Black Cannabis Week. It was super dope. Check us out next week on livehipHopdaily.tv. Cash Color Cannabis. High level of conversation.